Someone once said, if you raise your voice, only a few will hear. But if your message resonates, everyone will pay attention. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Mastering Happiness, the journey of An Tuong. In a small, serene village nestled by the mountains, there lived an old monk named Master Thien Minh, renowned for his wisdom and calm demeanor. He was a man of few words, yet his every action seemed to carry profound meaning. People from all walks of life came to him, seeking guidance for their troubles, but the monk rarely gave direct answers. Instead, he often led his visitors to a deep realization through simple, everyday experiences. One bright morning, a young man named An Tuong arrived at the temple with a troubled heart. He had spent his life chasing after success, ambition, recognition, and material wealth, and yet, no matter how much he achieved, he always felt an emptiness within. His heart was restless, and his mind was overwhelmed with anxiety. An Tuong approached Master Thien Minh and said, "Master, I have worked so hard my entire life. I have achieved much in terms of success, but I still feel unsatisfied. I am constantly striving, but it feels like happiness is always just out of reach. Please, tell me the secret to happiness." Master Thien Minh smiled gently and replied, "The secret to happiness cannot be found in the pursuit of external things. My child, you have been searching in the wrong places. True happiness lies within, in the peace of the present moment. But before I explain further, you must complete a task for me." Curious but determined, An Tuong asked, "What is this task, Master?" Master Thien Minh instructed him, "Go to the market and find the biggest, juiciest watermelon you can find. Then, carry it on your head and walk through the village without dropping it. When you return, we will discuss happiness." Confused but obedient, An Tuong went to the market. After much searching, he found a massive watermelon. Carefully, he placed it on his head and began the journey back to the temple. As he walked through the village, people stopped to stare. Some laughed, others cheered, and a few even joined in, clapping and making funny faces. Despite the light-hearted reactions of the villagers, An Tuong remained focused, trying with all his might not to drop the watermelon. After what felt like an eternity, An Tuong finally arrived at Master Thien Minh's hut. The watermelon still intact, he sighed with relief and looked to the monk, expecting to be congratulated for his effort. However, Master Thien Minh burst into laughter, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "Well done, my child," the master said, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes. "Now, let me share with you the secret to happiness." He paused for a moment, looking An Tuong in the eye. Quote, "The task you just completed, though seemingly trivial, holds the key to understanding true happiness. Life is much like carrying that watermelon. You walk through the challenges, the bumps, and the laughter of others. But if you can approach it with a light heart and a sense of humor, you will find joy, even in the most difficult moments." An Tuong stood in silence, feeling the weight of the monk's words. He realized that, just like the watermelon, life was full of challenges, but it was his reaction to them that determined his peace. If he could approach life's ups and downs with a sense of humor and without attachment, he would be able to find happiness, no matter the circumstances. The monk continued, "You have been focused on external success, but the true secret to happiness lies in your ability to be present, to embrace life with acceptance and grace. The more you seek happiness outside, the further it slips from your grasp. But when you stop chasing and learn to be content with what is, that's when happiness will naturally arise." From that day forward, An Tuong adopted a new perspective on life. He understood that happiness was not a destination to reach, nor was it something that could be found in material wealth or the approval of others. It was a state of being, a way of living with an open heart, embracing both the joys and the challenges of life with equanimity. But even with this newfound wisdom, An Tuong faced many challenges in his journey. Despite his deep understanding of the teachings, there were times when old habits crept back into his life. The pressure to succeed, the desire to prove himself, and the temptation to compare himself to others were forces he had to constantly fight against. One day, while walking through the village, An Tuong ran into an old friend who had heard about his time with Master Thien Minh. His friend asked, "An Tuong, I've heard that you've spent time with the great monk. Tell me, how have you changed? Are you not still striving for success?" How can you be happy without achieving the things everyone else is chasing? Wealth, recognition, status? The question caught An Tuong off guard. He had thought he had moved beyond the need for external validation. But hearing his friend's words, doubt began to creep into his mind. Was happiness truly possible without striving for success? Was he simply avoiding the realities of the world by focusing on inner peace? Later that evening, Master Thien Minh sensed An Tuong's inner turmoil. The monk called him to the temple and asked, "What troubles you, my child?" An Tuong shared the conversation with his friend, and the monk listened attentively before responding with a gentle smile. The world outside will always encourage you to chase after things, money, fame, success. But these are fleeting, like the flowers that bloom in spring and wither by summer. They are impermanent. You cannot find lasting happiness in what is temporary. Master Thien Minh continued, "True happiness does not depend on external circumstances. It depends on how you respond to them. The path to happiness lies in letting go of attachments and expectations. When you stop trying to control the world, you can begin to embrace it as it is, beautiful, unpredictable, and ever-changing." An Tuong took a deep breath and, for the first time, felt a profound sense of peace. He realized that his friend's words, though well-meaning, were grounded in the illusion that happiness could only be found through material success. He now understood that happiness was not something to be chased, but something to be recognized within oneself. The path to self-realization. Months passed, and An Tuong's inner peace grew stronger. The more he meditated and practiced mindfulness, the more he began to understand that true happiness could only be found when one let go of desires and attachments. His once restless mind became calm, and he learned to live fully in the present moment. One evening, while meditating under a Bodhi tree, a deep realization dawned upon him. He understood that happiness was not something he needed to search for, it was already within him, waiting to be recognized. The key to happiness was not external success or the approval of others, but the ability to be content with the present moment and to embrace life as it was, with all its uncertainties and imperfections. Master Thien Minh, sensing An Tuong's realization, approached him and said, quote, "You have come far, my child. You now understand that happiness is a state of being, not a goal to be achieved. When you stop searching for it outside yourself and begin to cultivate it within, you will find that life becomes a journey of peace, joy, and contentment." An Tuong nodded, feeling a profound sense of gratitude toward the monk. He had come to understand that true happiness was not a destination, it was a way of being, a path of acceptance, mindfulness, and inner peace. Sharing the wisdom. As Master Thien Minh grew older, he passed on his teachings to An Tuong, who eventually took up the mantle of guiding others. Over the years, An Tuong became a revered teacher in his own right, helping many who sought peace and happiness in the same way he once had. One day, a young man named Keen came to the temple, troubled by feelings of dissatisfaction despite his material success. He had heard of An Tuong's wisdom and sought guidance. An Tuong listened patiently to Keen's struggles and shared the teachings that had transformed his own life. True happiness, An Tuong said, is not found in what you acquire or achieve. It is found within you, in your ability to be present and to accept life as it comes. When you let go of your attachments and live without expectations, happiness will naturally arise. Keen left the temple that day with a new understanding. Like An Tuong before him, he realized that happiness is not something to be chased, it is something to be cultivated from within. The final lesson. As An Tuong grew old, he reflected on the journey he had traveled. He had come to understand that happiness was not something that could be found in the external world. It was not in the accolades, the wealth, or the recognition. True happiness was found in the present moment, in living mindfully, and in embracing life with a heart full of compassion and gratitude. An Tuong's final words to his disciples were simple yet profound. Happiness is not a destination. It is a way of being. It is found within you, in the present moment. When you stop chasing and start embracing, you will find peace, joy, and contentment. And so, the wisdom of An Tuong, the enlightened monk, was passed down for generations, continuing to guide those who sought true happiness and inner peace.